This is the National Stadium in Honduras, the setting for our World Cup action this week from the very keenly contested CONCACAF group. It's El Salvador against one of the top contenders for a place in next year's finals, the USA. Now hang on, you're saying, why are El Salvador playing at home in Honduras? Well, here's the reason. Unruly crowd scenes forced the referee to abandon their match against Costa Rica, the group leaders, and FIFA ruled after the violence in San Salvador that their other home games in the group would have to be played on a neutral ground. So El Salvador have lost their home advantage. The USA going into this one 4 points behind Trinidad and Tobago, the country chasing Costa Rica, who've completed their program. 2 to qualify. A vital match then this for the Americans, who on the last occasion we saw them just did enough to beat Guatemala.
Several men up in the all-white strip of the United States, and there it is floated inside the penalty area, and a nice useful little header on, and the Guatemala defence in a little bit of a muddle there. So it's taken up here by John Jaques and swinging over the cross. Oh, and a superb volley, and a really excellent start for the United States. It's Bruce Murray the scorer, and what a spectacular effort too. Long and a dangerous ball forward. It was really pumped over the top of the American defence. And now they're grouping round about the penalty area, and the first chance at Guatemala, and it's taken as well. And Chacon has scored for Guatemala. Raul Chacon. It's 1-1. Meanwhile, Guatemala's posse of trainers and masseurs are on, and the goalkeeper's off his line, and the ball's in, and America has stolen the lead. As we can see here, the goalkeeper charges almost like a wild bull out of his goal. Trichu's header turned in on the line.
A narrow win for the Americans, who are inching their way towards the finals. The crunch game looks to be in November. Trinidad and Tobago at home to the USA. Trinidad in resilient mood after their recent success over Guatemala. Davila. Long ball, posing problems at the back, and this now is Sims. Oh, the shot beaten away. Rojas, oh, it's there! And against the run of play, Guatemala have shocked Trinidad and Tobago with an early goal. This is Faustin. Threaded through that by Yamerson, finding Leonson Lewis. Is this the equaliser? Yes! Oh, delightfully tucked away by Philbert Jones. And Trinidad's early despair soon turns to jubilation. Here's the kick. Good. Lakapi to Yamerson, and it's there! He scored! Yamerson! Look at the scenes! And the man who scored the winner in the first game in Guatemala between the two teams has done it again. The qualifying game in Honduras then of paramount importance to the Americans. Only a victory really will satisfy them. Join us for the action right after the break. Welcome back to Honduras as this World Cup qualifying game gets underway. El Salvador in the all-blue strip, attacking the goal to our left. And the Americans are bound to show a great deal of urgency in this match, which they desperately need to win, to put the pressure on Trinidad and Tobago above them. And also on Costa Rica. It's still feasible that 3 teams could finish on 11 points. Referee Codesal Mendez of Mexico awarding the free kick then to the USA. 11 is Hugo Perez, and also with him there, number 7 here, Tab Ramos, 2 key players in the American side. El Salvador with a 2-man wall that the referee wants a little further back. The Americans searching for an early strike. And that's a foul. It'll be a free kick to El Salvador, who've had a pretty torrid time in the group, just 1 point. And the violence in that home game against Costa Rica, which gave FIFA really no alternative but to order them to play their home matches on neutral territory. Rivera, the goalkeeper for El Salvador. Headed away by Orelati. The Americans, who've lost only one of their matches so far, the away game against Costa Rica. And El Salvador able to bring the ball away. Not too far though. The Americans have started very promisingly, but that'll be a goal kick. John Harkes was the marauding player for the Americans. But the form team in the group do seem to be Trinidad and Tobago, who are playing with a lot of enthusiasm, spirit and endeavour. And certainly played well in their recent win over Guatemala. A late goal that set them up now as, I suppose you could say, favourites really to go through with Costa Rica. The Americans still have a lot to do. And that all-important game against Trinidad still to come. Good defensive play then by John Stolmeyer. Plays for Cleveland Force. Young Tony Meola here, reckoned to be just about the best goalkeeper they've ever produced in American football. Just 20 years old. Only a small crowd in the stadium. Neither team, of course, with home advantage, and therefore neither with home support, really, but the chap selling hot dogs there is even looking the other way. It's a free kick then to the USA. More defending for El Salvador to do. And the Mexican referee is still not satisfied that the wall is far enough back. Came off the wall, deflected for a corner. So again, Rivera, the goalkeeper, has to organise the defensive ranks ahead of him. Here's the corner. Stolmeyer has come up. The corner to be taken by Tab Ramos. Well held by the goalkeeper, and I think the referee had spotted some pushing anyway from Peter Vermes, who plays his club football in Holland. Little nudge there, you can see, on Orelati. This is Gurun. Tigerish tackling from the Americans. Tab Ramos very much involved. Foul though on Portillo. And some angry words exchanged between player and referee. Little thick off there. And there was the foul committed by John Harkes. So a free kick to El Salvador. The chunky figure of Portillo. Gurun. Hugo Perez. Tony Meola, who plays for the University Club of Virginia. And so far, the game dictated by the Americans. But they're having to funnel back now. Long ball through the middle though was overhit. Perez. Foul on Bruce Murray. Ramos with the free kick. El Salvador struggling to clear. It's still not away. Perez. Ramos. These two linking well. Vermes into the side netting. Good build-up then by the Americans, who are certainly looking the better side in this first half. Rivera, though, had covered the near post. Rugas. Obviously in no hurry. El Salvador just endeavouring to take the heat out of the situation. They've come under fire from the Americans in the first part of this game. El Salvador playing keep ball. But can they make any progress here? The Americans certainly look a bigger and more powerful side. No way through then for Lorenzano. But they have a free kick, El Salvador. Beaten twice by Costa Rica and by Trinidad and Tobago. Their only point, a goalless draw with Trinidad in their home game. Shot fired in all, a marvellous save. Pushed wide then by Miola. Catapulting across his goal. And certainly living up to his reputation. It's a well-struck free kick. And Miola right behind it to tip it away. Spectacular goalkeeping. So the first real opportunity of the game for El Salvador, very nearly producing a goal. Miola didn't get hold of it and shot wide. Rugas. So a scare for the Americans, and they have, without any doubt at all, Miola to thank. Didn't make the save that time, though. So some encouragement for El Salvador. This is Perez for the USA. Began the group as favourites to qualify, but they've got to struggle on first. Jimmy Banks, number 4. And certainly if they don't come through this one with 2 points, it's going to be very difficult for them. The Americans were held at home by Trinidad and Tobago, a 1-1 draw. Miola, the hero for them now. Again, good play down the flanks. The Americans looking a little edgy at the back. Not defending with too much assurance at this stage. El Salvador, having been pegged back in the early minutes, coming forward with some menace now. Another free kick for them. And the referee has awarded an indirect free kick. Tony Miola, hoping the defensive cover ahead of him is right. Now, what can El Salvador make of this? The Americans on the retreat. And that is where the referee wants the wall to be. He's not satisfied. It's back far enough. Another pace. will be enough. And he wants Perez further away too. Shot was charged down anyway. And of course, as soon as the referee turns his back, the defenders move forward anyway. But we know that, he doesn't. Rivas for El Salvador. Will take heart from their improved showing in the last few minutes. Giroud. Well, rather untidy in there. But away came Peter Vermes, racing onto the through ball. And Rivera quickly out of his 6-yard area to thwart him. Portillo. No foul. El Salvador looking rather aggrieved. They felt they should have had a free kick then. Here's Tab Ramos. Off he goes in search of the return pass, but no real hope of getting there. And he had a second chance. Perez driving it wide. Looks a lively performer though. Hugo Perez, a naturalized American who in fact was born in El Salvador. So we'll know all about him. Onto his left foot and well wide of the post. So again, Rivera not really extended. Throw to the USA. John Harkes will take it for them. But again, the move breaking down, and the Americans have rather lost their rhythm. And they're going to have to step up a gear if they're to take the 2 points here. Ramos, regular member of the side in the last couple of seasons now, Tab Ramos, generally rated as one of the best players in American football. And you'll see here from the replay that he caught an elbow in the face then. The ball rather bobbling, and the defender whacking him as Ramos tried to go past him. So a free kick to the USA. Ramos seems to be all right. A little bit of refreshment for him first. He's a very competitive player, and I'm sure he'll keep going. Perez floating it in. And this time, El Salvador have got it clear. Good tackling back, though, by the Americans. And they can build again then from the back. The surface rather heavy in parts. Certainly there have been a few awkward bounces for the players to contend with. Mike Windishman playing the ball out of defence. But rather lacking creativity at the moment, the Americans. Perhaps Perez can spark them off. Plenty of strong running from the likes of Perez and Ramos, but they've not been able to break down El Salvador. Mike Windishman from Albany Capitals. Peter Vermes forcing the throw. El Salvador quick to pull players back in defence. Now will Stolmeyer look for a long throw here? Not this time. Oh, a chance! Saved by the goalkeeper. Shot was from Vermes. And that was a real let-off then for El Salvador. As the ball came back then to Vermes, he had plenty of time. He was unmarked and he shot straight at the goalkeeper, who kept his nerve. And the Americans will feel they should have scored the first goal then. A clear opportunity for Vermes. A yellow card now being brandished by the referee. Lorenzano, the offender. So another free kick to the USA, but it could have been far more serious if the finishing of Peter Vermes had been a little more clinical. They'll try again from the free kick. Too long though. Rivera was in the right place to keep out the shot from Vermes. And the goalkeeper not taking the goal kicks now. Some consternation on the American bench. Bob Gansler, the American coach, wondering if his team can take charge of this game, which they haven't really done with any style so far. An early flourish which failed to produce a goal, and they've missed another chance since and very nearly conceded one at the other end, but for the outstanding work of goalkeeper Tony Meola. So the result by no means a foregone conclusion. This, remember, the CONCACAF group for North and Central American teams. 2 to go through. Costa Rica, the group leaders. Behind them, Trinidad and Tobago. And then the USA. El Salvador, by no means overawed in this game. Certainly the Americans favourites to win it. Lorenzano, the man who was cautioned. One or two nice touches on the ball from El Salvador. Forced to play this match away from home, so I shouldn't think they were too pleased with the crowd's behaviour. But they're retaining possession here now, and the Americans can't get the ball off them. Here's the cross in, safely held by Tony Meola. Big fella, 6'1". Ramos jinking past one tackle, then surely fouled, and he's furious. Good little player though, Tab Ramos. A star from his college days. Perez has gone across to see if he's all right. Here's the foul again. A very late lunging tackle from Giroud. And he's taken a bit of a buffeting in this game so far as Tab Ramos. The Americans still pressing, hoping for this first goal. It's Peter Vermes lurking at the far post. Vermes, key performer for the USA in the Olympic qualifying matches. They played El Salvador and came through against them in the qualifying games. It'll be a corner. The ball coming off Rugas. Tab Ramos just limping slightly from the rather bruising encounters that he's had in this game. The Americans want to take the corner quickly. Not allowed to do so, but here's Perez, who looks a little like Hugo Sanchez, the Mexican star with Real Madrid. I wonder if he's modelled his game on him. Perez with the corner. Well, the bodies were flying in, but no one could apply the finishing touch. El Salvador survive again. Goalkeeper stayed back on his line and safely hooked away. There's the header flashing past the post. And they've looked to be quite menacing in the air, the Americans. They've got some big fellows up there. But still, that first goal eludes them. It was a useful cross in. And the header beyond the goalkeeper, but beyond the post too. Linesman is waving his flag. The officials all from Mexico. It's a free kick to El Salvador. They lost the game that was abandoned against Costa Rica by 4-2. A very eventful game it was too. Also lost in the away game to Costa Rica. A little closer though, that was only a 1-0 defeat. But Costa Rica are the team the others have to catch. And the Americans have not posed their authority on this game. Half a chance that almost developed for El Salvador. And the ball was kept in play. Giroud with Tab Ramos tackling back at him, but rather too ferociously, and the referee has awarded the free kick. He wants a word with Tab Ramos too. Ramos, well, I felt played the ball then, but he's got a yellow card for the referee for arguing his case too far. So a free kick to El Salvador. And it hasn't been one-way traffic in this first half. The Americans perhaps have had more chances, but El Salvador have had opportunities too. Portillo. The Americans with plenty of defenders back, and indeed a free kick has been given anyway for some pushing in the penalty area. As the ball is knocked back in, there's the thump in the back. Brian Bliss. There are players waiting in the penalty area for the USA. Well, the corner conceded. El Salvador will settle for that. Perez trotting over to take the corner for the USA. Still no goals in Honduras. And that ball will just not stay still. Now it has. Here's Perez. And the shot way over the bar from John Harkes. And their finishing has looked a little shoddy so far. Didn't really get underneath that one at all. And his experience could have been a vital ingredient in the American approach play. They've, as I was saying earlier, lacked imagination really. Stolmeyer with a long throw in. Ramos turning, great save, kept out by Rivera. Acrobatic goalkeeping. Ramos turned then, and somehow Rivera got across his goal to push it wide. So both the goalkeepers excelling in the first half. Two crucial saves, and it's kept a goalless score sheet. Header goes wide from Tsuchu. But what goalkeeping from Rivera. An instinctive save. Now again we see the header wide from Steve Tsuchu. Chase on here, the goalkeeper's come all the way and he's missed it. Vermes, the goalkeeper right out of his area. And the Americans couldn't take advantage. A rush of blood to the head then really from Rivera. Vermes getting the ball just before him. He had time. In fact, the ball then came back off the goalkeeper. Otherwise, surely then we would have seen the first goal. Here's the corner. Three players going for the same ball. And in fact, the whistle has gone for half-time. And no doubt at all that some inspired goalkeeping has denied the Americans, and also El Salvador at the other end. That save from Tony Meola. And it all means there are no goals in the first half, and the Americans anxiously need one in the second half. Join us again after the break. Welcome back to Honduras as the second half is now underway in this World Cup qualifying group game. El Salvador against the USA. And just to recap, it's a match that the USA really must win to maintain their challenge. Tony Meola here pulled off one spectacular save to keep out El Salvador in the first half. The USA had chances though to have taken the lead. They've squandered them so far. Although certainly on at least one occasion they were denied by the goalkeeping of Rivera. So it's a story of two goalkeepers so far. El Salvador in the all-blue strip, now attacking the goal to our right. Offside indicated by the linesman. This is Brian Bliss. Perez. The tackling is fierce. It's been a very aggressive game. Mirando wanting to come on for El Salvador. Perez with the free kick. Here's Bliss. Steering the ball back across the area. And that could have been dangerous. Harkes. Strong opening to the second half from the USA. But again, they've failed to pierce the El Salvador defensive barrier. And they launch an attack themselves now. And here's a chance. Oh, off the post! From Alfaro. The marking was none too clever then for the Americans. And Viola was rather exposed. Off the post. They'd left Alfaro unmarked. Here he is arriving now. And very nearly a goal then for El Salvador. So the Americans, as if they didn't know it already, are aware now they've got a real battle on their hands. But a free kick to the USA now. Perez is there. And Bruce Murray. And Tab Ramos. One of the Americans has placed himself in the wall, the El Salvador wall. Now he's moved away, and the referee wants that wall further back still. John Harkes is there too now. Perhaps he's going to try one for the USA. Saved by the goalkeeper. Twice. And this time it's in for Perez. Perez has done it. The naturalized American, who hails from El Salvador, has scored what may well turn out to be a crucial goal. The goalkeeper, though, is so unlucky then, Rivera. Twice he kept them out, and then the third time Perez finally beat him. Squirmed back off his body then, but he saves this one, and Perez guiding the header down. Rivera despairingly can't quite stop the ball going in, and Hugo Perez has given the USA the lead. Gomez with the shot that the goalkeeper couldn't hold, the second one, and Perez was on hand to score. Now the Americans have their noses in front. Can they build from here? El Salvador, remember, without a win in the group, and they're now up against it. But they've certainly shown enough to suggest they can pose a few more problems yet for the Americans. Lorenzano. And that trip will mean a free kick to the USA. John Harkes is the player down. He was caught then. So essential for the Americans to reach the finals in Italy, to gain some valuable experience before they host the finals in '94. And it really would be a disaster for them if they do miss out now. They come into the group games with such high hopes, but they reckon without Trinidad and Tobago doing so well, and Costa Rica too. But for the moment, well, the Americans are still heading towards the finals. If they win this game, they're right up there contesting a place. Shot driven over by John Harkes. Some of the players just looking a little jaded, a little tired now. It is heavy going out there. Harkes did well enough, couldn't keep his shot down. But it's a bit of a struggle for the players on this sticky surface. The Americans have got to keep going, they've got to persevere. And the referee not interested in the Americans' claim for a free kick. On go El Salvador. Alfaro. They've lost it, and they could be in trouble here if the Americans could get players forward in support. Another free kick to the Americans, who want to make a substitution. Eric Eichmann is the player they want to bring on. And he does seem to have an almost permanent role as substitute for the Americans. Very talented player. But coach Bob Gansler doesn't seem too convinced that he can last the 90 minutes, so he often has to settle for a place on the bench. Does look effective though when he comes on. The Americans hoping to force the corner. Perez over there, jostling with Giroud. The Americans looking to make their substitution. Peter Vermes is the player they're going to take off. Eichmann to come on. But not for the moment. El Salvador in possession. And here's the battling figure of Bruce Murray. Taking them on. That's a good cross too. And the header not far away. Fine run by Murray. Little shuffle, and that really should have been two. El Salvador live to fight another day. Excellent work down the flank by Murray. Bustling, robust striker. Showed he had pace too. But the Americans now having to backpedal. Shot over the bar from Rujas. So still some moments of anxiety for the Americans. They haven't won this one yet. Played wide by Rujas. Here's Giroud. The Americans trying to close them down very quickly, deny them space. Perez on the break. Now this is Murray. Can he finish it here? A spectacular save once more from Rivera. Magnificent goalkeeping. Murray so powerful, striding through the middle onto that left foot, and Rivera equal to it. But Murray must be wondering how on earth Rivera kept that one out, and sportingly there just acknowledging the goalkeeping of Rivera. Any goalkeeper in the world would have been proud of that one. It stays at 1-0. The Americans remain on tenterhooks. Ramos to take the corner when the referee finally allows him to. At last. Here's the corner then. The Americans still seeking the comfort of that second goal. Whistle has gone. El Salvador very angry. A yellow card has been issued to one of the Americans. It's Eichmann, in fact, the man who came on as a substitute. Not Perez, who's complaining here. I think if we look again, there's Perez with a bicycle kick that didn't come off. It's a throw to the USA. And they'll look to maintain the pressure on El Salvador in the closing stages of this game. It's still very tight, only one goal. Eichmann away down the flank. Murray's in the middle. Hawks with the shot, saved by Rivera. Oh, this goalkeeper takes 10 out of 10. He really has been quite incredible with the saves that he's made. Murray letting it go. And Harks with the shot. And still, the Americans failing to score a second goal that surely would clinch the game for them. Murray intelligently allowing the ball to run through. Rivera was perfectly placed off his legs. So there's still hope for El Salvador. Murray. Long ball from Bliss was rather careless. Rujas. Can El Salvador snatch a dramatic equalizer? Ramos. Murray surely handled that then. The referee has given the free kick, which Rivera will take as quickly as he possibly can. Certainly an arm went out then from Murray. The American defence has had its wobbles during this game, but they'll be hoping to hold out now. Murray's flick off. Looks a good player, Murray. Now Ramos. Eichmann challenging. And the referee says that's a goal kick to El Salvador. Time almost running out for them now. Rujas. Easily away. Ramos for the USA. And El Salvador coming straight back at them. How can they finish it here? No. Out for a corner. But the Americans still with a little bit of defending to do. Here's the corner. And that came through a crowd of players, and fortunately for the USA, safely into the arms of Tony Meola. And the Americans will look back, thankfully, on his excellent save in the first half, Meola. And El Salvador will also regard somewhat ruefully the shot that came back off the post. Murray now. Again showing his persistence down the flank. And now racing back to carry out any defensive duties that are needed. As the USA edge nearer and nearer to victory. It's almost over now. The referee has looked at his watch. There are only now a few seconds to go. They'll be biting their nails on the bench. One last chance perhaps for El Salvador. It's all over. The Americans have won. And you should see the relief on their faces. It certainly wasn't easy. But they've got there in the end. A 1-0 win. The goal from Hugo Perez in the second half. Enough to clinch them the points. The Americans now will be optimistic about their chances of going on to the finals. The flag there, proudly held aloft. And after the break, we'll be back with a review of the table.